The number of homicides here in Lansing reached record high in 2020. So high that officials here with the Lansing Police Department say they haven't seen this many murders in at least 30 years. But for some people, that homicide number hits close to home.
I get a phone call from work, that he had been shot.
It's a sad memory that Miranda Hinton still finds hard to talk about 5 months after losing her 32-year-old son, Marcus Jackson Burton.
It's a pain like no other.
It was an August day. Family members say Marcus and his brother Stephen Jackson stopped at this restaurant to pick up dinner. Moments later, shots were fired and both brothers were struck. Both eventually died from their injuries. While Stephen wasn't Miranda's biological son, she still feels the pain that stemmed from his passing.
I wasn't his biological mother, but I was still his mom.
Marcus was visiting from Texas and had just dropped off his 4 young kids at their mom's house right before the shooting.
He hadn't been in Lansing an hour.
The sudden act of violence has left Miranda heartbroken, but what keeps her going are funny memories she had with her outgoing and charismatic son who had aspirations of making it big as a comedian.
He did a few shows here, he did shows in Chicago, he did shows in Ann Arbor. He was on his way.
Within a couple days, police arrested a suspect in connection to the shooting. Miranda is thankful to the Lansing Police Department because the arrest gave her family a little closure.
Probably the worst part of my job is contacting a family that has lost a loved one to violence in the city, or attending a funeral as a result of violence in our city. But being able to help them.
But the city has been losing a lot of people to violence. There were 21 homicides in Lansing last year, the highest number in 3 decades.
21 homicides in the city of Lansing, that's not what we're about.
Authorities have arrested suspects in 16 of those cases, and when asked why there were so many homicides in 2020, Lansing Police Chief DARYL Green says it's been a tough year with COVID-19 and other national incidents like violent protests. He also says in 90% of Lansing homicides, the victim knew the suspect.
Call them beefs, as many of us do, these beefs that take on something else, whereas, people will start shooting at each other and so forth.
Now that officers know how most homicides start, they hope to have a lower number next year. However, family members like Miranda are left reciting words she wishes she could have said to her son and his brother.
I love you. I'm proud of you. Not a day go by that I don't think about you guys.
Now, this is obviously a sad and emotional time for Miranda and other families who may be dealing with the same grief. And a lot of these homicides are still under investigation. So if you know anything, you're asked to call the Lansing Police Department at the number on the bottom of your screen. For now, reporting in front of the Lansing Police Department, I'm Larry Wallace, Fox 47 News.